Have you ever looked at Chinese writing and just felt your brain shut down? It looks so incredibly complex. But what if I told you there's a simple, hidden logic hiding in plain sight? Well, today, we're going to demystify Chinese characters and show you that very secret.
Yeah, that feeling, you are definitely not alone. It can feel like you're staring at this beautiful but totally impenetrable wall of squiggles and lines. But here's the thing. What if it's not random at all? What if there's an underlying system, a secret logic, that once you see it, changes everything about how you look at this language?
All right, let's dive right in. First up, Section 1, the character challenge.
Okay, so here is the big secret. The key isn't about trying to memorize thousands of individual, complicated characters. No way. It's about learning to see the simple, reusable building blocks that they're all made of. Think of them like Lego bricks. You don't memorize every possible Lego creation, right? You just learn how the basic bricks fit together. So, how exactly are these characters built with those bricks? Let's get into Section 2 and uncover the secrets of construction. Okay, let's start with a really simple one. This right here, ren, means person. And you can kind of see it, can't you? It looks just like a little stick figure walking along. And here's our next building block. This is moku, which means tree. Again, super intuitive. You can totally see the trunk and the branches stretching out. All right, now for the magic. What happens when we put these two simple ideas together? We get a person next to a tree. And what do you do when you lean up against a tree for a minute? You rest. And that's exactly what this new character, Shu, means. See? It's not just random lines. It's a tiny visual story. And this logic works for more complex characters, too. Take a look at xiang. This means to want or to think. At first glance, it looks, well, a little complicated. But let's break it down. It's just more of those building blocks. There's a tree, an eye, and a heart. Once you see the parts, it's suddenly not so scary anymore. You know, this isn't just a collection of clever tricks. It's actually a formal system. So let's get into Section 3 and break down the 4 character keys. Think of these as the 4 main blueprints for how almost every Chinese character is made. We've got pictographs, simple ideographs, compound ideographs, and semantic-phonetic compounds. Let's walk through them. First up, pictographs. These are the easiest ones to get because they're literally just simple drawings that got stylized over time. For example, the character from Mountain, Shan, looks like 3 peaks, and mouth, Ko, is just, well, a square mouth. Simple. Next, we have simple ideographs. These are for abstract ideas. I mean, how do you draw the number 3? Easy. You just draw 3 lines. San. How do you show above? You draw a line and put a little mark above it. Sheng. It's such a simple, elegant kind of visual logic. Third on our list is compound ideographs. We've actually already seen this one. Remember, person plus tree equals rest? That's a perfect example. You're combining the meaning of 2 simple ideas to make a new one. Here's another cool one. You take the character for hand and put it over the character for eye, and you get the character for look. Makes sense, right? Okay, now for the last key. And honestly, this one is the most powerful of them all. It's a total game changer because it gives you 2 clues for the price of 1. One for the meaning and another for how to pronounce it. Let's break down the character for mother, which is ma, pronounced ma. So on the left side, we have nu, which means female. That's our semantic clue, our meaning clue, right? It tells us this character has something to do with women. Then on the right, we have ma, which means horse and is pronounced ma. That's our phonetic clue, our sound clue. It sounds almost the same. So you get the meaning from one part and the sound from the other. Pretty clever. And here's why this is such a huge deal. Are you ready for this? About 80%. 80 of all Chinese characters are built this way. Just let that sink in for a second. If you can grasp this one concept, you've basically cracked the code for the vast majority of the entire written language. Okay, I know what you're thinking. But what about the weird ones? The ones that don't seem to fit any of these rules? Well, that brings us to our next section, hacking your memory. So yeah, what do you do with those characters where the clues just aren't obvious? The ones that still look like a jumble of random lines? The answer is, we create a mnemonic. It's really just a fancy word for a little story or a catchy phrase that you make up to connect the pieces of a character to what it actually means. Let's try one out. Take the character for old, which is Q.
If you look closely, you can see it's made of two parts, the number 1 and the character for day. So let's create a quick story. How about, after just 1 day, bread starts to get old? Boom! That silly little sentence connects the parts, 1 day, to the meaning, old. And you can do this for any character that gives you trouble. It's a fantastic way to make learning personal and, honestly, a lot more fun. All right, let's wrap all of this up in our final section, seeing a new language.
So really, the biggest thing I hope you take away from this is a total shift in how you look at this stuff. Before, you might have seen a page of random lines, but now you see building blocks. What seemed impossible is actually a logical system, and what felt like endless brute force memorization can become an act of storytelling.
That change in perspective, that's the real secret. It's not about memorizing 100 characters today. It's about learning how to learn them, how to see the language in a whole new light. So I'll leave you with a question. Now that you can see the stories hidden inside the characters, what else do you think you could learn?